Hi, this is Kelly Wright at the Money Show. I'm with Joanne and Dr. Mark Skousen. So let's talk about partnership investing, okay? Maybe not what everyone is thinking when I say partnership.
Now, this isn't about getting into a partnership.
Okay.
This is about having a partner for life and working together to develop a good, sound investment portfolio when you don't always think the same way. Years ago when I would give this talk, men would come up to me and they would say, so how do I get my wife to be interested in investing? She just doesn't care.
Right.
And what I realized they were really asking is, how do I get my wife to agree with me? And that was the problem. But the beauty of investing is you don't have to agree. You can have different investment philosophies and use those as strengths to develop a really good, broad-based, well-diversified portfolio.
Okay.
And I think that means separate accounts personally, and we do have separate accounts, although a lot of people have accounts that are together, and that's a tough question. If I'm a speculator, which I tend to be, and Joanne's more conservative, if we have the same portfolio, how do we divide it up?
Okay, so my wife's a chaplain. We're completely opposites. She's relational and I'm up here in my head, okay? And she tells me all the time, everybody's different. Everybody's different. Even in a partnership, in a life partnership, you guys are different. How have you guys made it work?
Well, for one thing, we have separate checking accounts, separate credit cards, separate accountability, which I think is really important. One of the reasons husbands and wives get into trouble is too often, traditionally, the man would earn the money, the wife would spend it. And she had no real stewardship or accountability because he paid all the bills. And so she could buy something with a credit card. Nowadays it works both ways, where you might have one who spends, the husband could be the spendthrift and the wife is the one who's more conservative and practical. But if you both have your own checking accounts, your own credit cards, and you're having to pay it off yourself, you're going to be more accountable to yourself and to each other. So that helps a lot.
Okay, so you have your joint assets, and then you have your individual assets.
The way we do it is we have top line, bottom line. My name is at the top of our joint accounts that I have control over. His name is at the top of the accounts he has control over. So if one of us dies, the other gets it, but we have completely separate stewardships over what we decide to do.
I'll give you an example of where Joanne and I worked together pretty well. I didn't think at the time this was a great idea, but it turned out to be really good. So I got involved in a speculation, one of these penny stocks, and I put in 25 grand, and it turned into 2 or 3 million. I mean, it was just an unbelievable. It doesn't happen very often, as you know.
I was going to say disclaimer. This does not happen at home.
Oh, but it happened last week. We have another one that's
we have
very
a
exciting.
pot stock, but it could go up in smoke. Who knows? But so I like to speculate because I like to have fun, and I like to have cocktail parties where I tell people about my winners. So this one was a big winner, and finally the penny stock was starting to come back down, and a friend of mine called and said, you better sell, and I took his advice and I sold the position. And so we made several $1 million, and we had to pay taxes, and then Joanne sat me down.
Well, he wanted to take all that money and put it in another penny stock.
More
Shocking.
speculation.
I'm shocked.
Which is sometimes good and sometimes bad, because he's made a lot, but he's also lost a lot. And together,
I can duplicate this. I know I can.
And I said, you take your half and do whatever you want with it, but we're going to take my half and we're going to pay off our house. We got a beautiful home on the lake, and I wanted to make sure we owned that house. So his speculation made the money, but my conservative
common sense
and
kept it.
Rational
Kelly,
thinking.
Kept
it was the smartest decision I ever made. I'm taking full credit for this.
You can't make this stuff up.
But you know, the beauty of it is that you're working together and you're not pointing fingers. It's kind of a tortoise and the hare scenario. We both end up making money, but we do it in different ways. I'm the conservative base, and Mark is that speculator at the top of the pyramid. And over time, we've kind of met in the middle. I do a lot more individual stocks now, and he looks for more conservative things. So it's a good balance.
And I tell you, the end of the story is I had like a quarter of the money left after we paid the mortgage and paid the taxes. And I did put it in these penny stocks and lost it all. So thank goodness I'm married to somebody who's conservative, because I'm a speculator. And imagine if you're married with 2 speculators. That could be real trouble.
You can't make this stuff up, folks. I'm telling you. Joanne and Dr. Mark Skousen, I'm Kelly Wright at The Money Show. Thanks for being with us.